I'm often asked that question. Peterson told the father and son founders of Relief Actor tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. The doctors who formulated Relief Actor selected the 4 best ingredients, 100% drug-free ingredients that each help your body deal with inflammation. Order the 3-week quick start now. Discounted to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you too. Call 800-500-8384. ReliefActor.com.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you can cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need. Indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest. Sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Australia stepping up efforts to protect and preserve its favorite marsupial.
Koalas are a national icon here, but they're also in real trouble. The status of the animal had previously been rated vulnerable and has now been upgraded to endangered for Queensland, New South Wales and the Australian Capital Territory. The government says the move means greater priority will be given to conserving the koala, and the World Wildlife Fund, which has lobbied for the change, says the decision is grim but important. It's thought there are still about 180,000 koalas on the east coast of Australia, but some estimates suggest numbers have dwindled by more than 60% in the past decade because of disease, deforestation and devastating bushfires.
The BBC's Simon Atkinson. World leaders meeting on France's Atlantic coast discussing protecting the planet's oceans from threats like overfishing and plastic pollution. News and analysis at townhall.com. Pro Football Hall of Fame announcing its newest member. Former San Francisco 49ers great Bryant Young, 3-time Super Bowl champion Richard Seymour, former Green Bay Packers safety and Lambeau Leaf inventor Leroy Butler, Super Bowl coach Dick Vermeil, and Tony Baselli, the first ever Jacksonville Jaguars player to be named Hall of Famer. The late Sam Mills, Raiders legend Cliff Branch, and former director of officiating Art McNally were also named to the 2022 class. All 8 men will officially be enshrined in Canton, Ohio, come August. Jeremy Kagover, Inglewood, California. President Biden appears to be winnowing down the list of candidates for the Supreme Court, saying he's looking at about 4 people. Democrats who met with him yesterday say he wants a persuasive nominee in the mold of retiring Justice Stephen Breyer. Mr. Biden also predicts at least some Republicans will vote for his nominee. He's already said that his nominee will be a black woman and that he will make a decision by the end of this month. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The economic health of our community rests with each of us, with our own pocketbooks. Economists tell us that the dollar spent at a local store is spent multiple times before it leaves our local area. From $1, you create $5 to $14 in value within the local area. The Miller Media Group and this local business encourage you to shop local first. First National Bank and Trust in Clinton. Do more with your money at First National Bank and Trust, member FDIC. This local business and the Miller Media Group ask you to shop local first. Shop local first.
You and your loved one will love living here at Eagle Ridge Supportive Living Indicator. Marketing Director Carla Thomas here with some comments from one of our happy residents.
Everything's took care of properly. Almost looks like a resort compared to what it is. It's a very enjoyable place to live.
Eagle Ridge Indicator is affordable to everyone. Call me, Carla Thomas, for a tour at 217-872-1282. That's 217-872-1282 and start enjoying supportive living.
Means being committed to product performance, to research and field testing, and to superior agronomics. Most of all, AgroLiquid is committed to delivering precisely the right nutrition in the right way, including seed-safe planter plus side dress applications and foliar applications with low burn risk. AgroLiquid. Apply less, expect more. Find a retailer at agroliquid.com.
I represent low-cost airlines, and we know a lot of you are not traveling right now, and we understand. However, if you do need to travel between now and the end of the year, now is a great time to lock in some of the lowest prices we've seen in a lifetime. Hey, in normal times, we can save you up to 75%, but now airlines are practically giving away seats. We have inside deals on over 500 airlines. Here are a few sample round-trip deals we found. Seattle to Vegas, $35. Chicago to Atlanta, $85. Los Angeles to Atlanta, $100. Of course, there are some limitations, but the airlines want your business right now. And cancellation and change fees are flexible. So fly somewhere this year, book now, save a ton, call right now.
858-988-7667. 858-988-7667. 858-988-7667. That's 858-988-7667.
8 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Friday morning. We start the day under cloudy skies and some rain in Clinton. 37 degrees. It feels like 29 outside.
Local information that makes a difference. Here's your regional weather.
Rain showers early this morning, moving off, becoming cloudy today. Highs in the mid-40s. A west-southwest wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Wind gusts today as high as 30 miles per hour, between a tenth and a quarter of an inch of rainfall through the morning hours today. A slight chance of showers in the evening tonight, otherwise cloudy. Lows around 15 degrees. Wind chills tonight between 0 and 10. Northwest winds at 15 to 20 miles an hour. Wind gusts tonight around 30 miles an hour. Partly sunny on Saturday. Highs in the mid-20s. Wind chills between 0 and 10 degrees on Saturday. Northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy, lows of 11 degrees. Sunday, a chance of early snow, then partly sunny, highs around 22. Monday, sunny, highs in the mid-30s, and Tuesday, sunny, highs in the mid-40s. Across central Illinois, as we roll through this Friday morning, right now, rain showers in the area, 38 degrees in Normal. It's 37 in Hayworth, 36 in Leroy, 35 in Farmer City, 36 in Champaign, 36 in Monticello, 37 in Decatur, 38 in Mount Pulaski and Lincoln. It's 38 degrees in Springfield and 39 degrees in Peoria. In Clinton, 37 degrees, rain falling, feels like 29 outside. Southwest winds at 15 miles per hour, 93% humidity, 10 miles of visibility on this Friday morning. Get the latest in local weather at DeWittDailyNews.com.
From regional radio, DeWittDailyNews.com and the WHOW app. This is local information making a difference.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. Coverage of news this morning is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. The WHOW Morning Show streams live to Facebook Live and YouTube at our YouTube channel, WHOW TV. And that coverage brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. If you are a small business or nonprofit in DeWitt County, county leadership is encouraging you to look into grant funding. They are making available. DeWitt County Board Chair Terry Ferguson tells Regional Radio News the funding is thanks to the American Recovery Act, and they're welcoming small businesses and nonprofits to apply for grants that could improve your operation.
American Recovery Act funding came from the federal government, and the county has funds available. There is a classification that enables businesses and nonprofits to make application for projects. We just recently posted the application form on the DeWitt County website. There's some criteria you have to meet. The nonprofits and the businesses can apply for grants that relate to their operations during the pandemic. Some changes that they might need to make it more conducive to doing business during the COVID times. We're just encouraging those businesses and nonprofit groups to make application, and we're planning on reviewing those sometime in April. Start sorting through to make sure everybody meets their our requirements. It's one of those deals that, we've had this funding in hand since, I believe, August or September. There's a long process of rulemaking, And our administrator, Dee Dee Rentmeister, has sent through countless Zoom meetings with the Treasury as they develop what you can and what you can't do with the funding. So the nonprofits and the businesses they do have a requirement that the projects have to make their operation more COVID friendly.
Applications are now live on the county website, DeWittCountyILL.com. Ferguson points out nonprofits cannot apply for the grants under the umbrella of things that COVID cost them through a lack of fundraising efforts.
We can't use it, the county, we can't use the money for projects that we've already been budgeted for. We can't use it to reduce our debt, and we can't use it to create a rainy day fund. But, the businesses, they're not in, they have to kind of meet that same criteria. You can't, I'm sorry to say, it seems like it would have been real easy just for a nonprofit to say, the COVID cost us so much money and the lack of fundraising. Here's what we're unable to do. Can we get a grant to fill that gap? Well, no, you can't do that. You have to have a project that you're going to do.
Again, the website for that application is DeWittCountyILL.com, and Ferguson points out those applications will be reviewed in April. Starting today, or I should say yesterday, that was Thursday, February 10th, Monticello schools went mask optional until further notice. Superintendent Dr. Vic Zimmerman told Regional Radio on the WHOW Morning Show Thursday the decision was made Wednesday afternoon to shift away from the district's original decision to stick with the mandate.
So we are starting today, masks recommended. School, employee, unvaccinated employees who prior to today were required to test weekly. We're still offering that, but not requiring it. Close contacts, positive cases will not be required to be excluded from school. But, we'll still, anybody that's obviously COVID positive, will need to stay home. We'll see how long that lasts. I mean, right. We're all kind of stuck in the middle right here while we're waiting things to happen statewide.
According to Dr. Zimmerman, because the restraining order was only temporary, he wanted to avoid a situation of unmasking kids, but then having to mask them again, depending on what the appellate court would have decided.
So ultimately, our decision was to stay the status quo, continuing to require masking for everybody and follow all the mandated COVID mitigations, because the judge's TRO, it's a temporary restraining order, so it's not like a final decision. It's not, it's not set in stone. Plus, it's been appealed. So, my thought was that the best course of action for Monticello schools was to maintain the current status of masking, et cetera, until such time that we do hear the result of the appeal. Because what I wanted to try to avoid was confusion of, okay, we're required to do these things now. Now we're going to take them off for a while because we aren't required to do them based on some of the language in the judge's TRO. And then, if it gets appealed, we could have to go back to the mandates. And then if it gets sent to the Supreme Court, then we potentially could have to make a decision to take them off for a while. So, I really wanted to avoid, the confusion of the back and forth in regard to the mandate. So, over the course of Monday and Tuesday, we kind of saw how that went. And
prior to changing course Wednesday, Dr. Zimmerman indicates he did some thinking and watched other districts make their changes and felt it was time for students to be able to be mask-free if they chose to be.
I actually got more emails from parents who were just, supportive, and they understand it's tough times and they'll do whatever school expects them to do. Of course, there were some emails who were like, you should definitely drop the mitigations, give everybody the opportunity to make their own decisions. So over the course of the several days and the way things played out, I observed more and more school districts who had started the same as us with status quo, changing to recommended masking. Superintendents talk a lot, so we talked about what was going on in their districts and those types of things. And there's the more and more I watch other school districts dropping this, I started really thinking about our kids. And at the end of the day, it needs to be about our kids. I just thought it was time because we were enabled by the TRO. I felt it was time to allow our kids to make their own decisions, at least for a while, in regard to whether or not they were going to wear a mask. I mean, the school attorneys right out of the gate were like, well, school districts are caught in the middle. The school districts that were named in the lawsuits, they really didn't have a lot of options to consider. But the non-named school districts who were called out in the ruling in a footnote indicating that the judge finds that the governor's mandates were above and beyond what he was able to do, and suggested that schools can make their own local control decisions, allowed us to make the decision to go mask optional, at least for a while.
Several districts, most specifically in the Chicagoland area, saw quite a few school board meetings receive a lot of attention for parents attending, demanding mask optional policies be put in place. Dr. Zimmerman appreciates Monticello families were respectful of the district's decision. Adjusting your diets can be as important as becoming more active. Dr. Jim Lavelle is a clinical pharmacist and the clinical director of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Performance Health Program. Like increasing your daily activity levels, if you're starting from scratch, gradually make any changes to your diets.
Well, it's great. I mean, I think the first thing is run away from a fad diet. People will start a diet off the internet, an average of 4 times a year. So if you read something about the ice cream and tuna fish diet, run in the other direction. It's about creating sustainable habits. I know we were talking about it before with your gym and the way they built up your exercise so that during the course of the year, you've got people committing to more and more time. Well, your diet's kind of like that too. I have a lot of patients that come into our practice and they end up, they're lucky if they eat 1 vegetable a day. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just the way it is. And when they're on time restricted eating, they got to squeeze that 1 vegetable in, at 7 p.m. It's really important that you establish the same kind of habits that you do, say, for maintenance on your house, for training regularly, that you start to say, I'm going to start incorporating healthy foods into my diet. Instead of picking up 2 bags of chips for the family during the week, I'm going to do 1 and I'm going to look for a healthy snack that I can do. I'm going to start to eat more vegetables. I'm going to make a goal of eating 5 servings of vegetables a day over the next 3 months. I'm only eating 1 right now.
According to Dr. Lavelle, practices like intermittent fasting have fallen off in popularity, but the Mediterranean diet continues to be very popular. He says you need to get main sources of protein and vegetables in your diet, and you'll start to notice a change on the scale.
So, I mean, the Mediterranean diet scored at the top of the list this year. I think time-restricted eating dropped significantly, and I pretty much knew that was going to happen. I mean, I talk to 10 to 15 people a day. We're designing personalized programs with them, and they come in doing that kind of thing. And most of the time they say, man, I'm so hungry. I start to lose kind of my energy. So I kind of could tell that fad was going to go away. Because the other thing is, too, is that, you have to eat for the appropriate amount of exercise and movement that you have. If all you do is sit in front of the computer and you jump on a treadmill 30 minutes a day, you don't need a pre-workout drink, a post-workout drink, an intra-workout drink, and fuel yourself 2 hours after your workout. It's understanding, well, what's my level of activity at? If I pick my level of activity up, I could probably have a few more calories. Stay off the high concentrated carbs. Stay off the high saturated fat. Really try to get lean sources of protein and vegetables at the center of your diet. And then people start making a movement on that scale when that happens.
Dr. Lavelle says a lot of times your diet should really fit how you live. He says everyone has different levels of activity each day, so the foods and nutrients we need will vary.
There's programs that try to do that, but what that does is it assumes that everybody burns calories identically. And that just isn't the case. We found out that people tolerate their carbohydrates differently, that some people are less efficient when they take in fats, meaning they have certain gene snips that actually trigger inflammatory chemistry if they eat more saturated fat. So things, not just, you hear saturated fat and you think, oh, don't eat beef. Well, grass-fed beef is lower in saturated fat. Bison is lower in saturated fat, so you can have some of that within reason. But a lot of things you don't realize, like coconut oil. Everybody's taking in MCT oil, coconut oil. Coconut oil is in, bars, and people are just thinking that's all healthy. But if your certain gene SNP is set up, you won't utilize that fat correctly. You'll actually trigger inflammatory chemistry.
Dr. Lavelle recommends slowly integrating changes to your diet to get your body used to it. He also recommends keeping track of calories and trying to get more vegetables than fruit. While fruit is good for you, vegetables have more of the nutrients we need.
You can kind of start with, here's a great rule of thumb. If you're overweight, try to get yourself to a 25% carbohydrate diet to start, to get your body used to utilizing blood sugar more efficiently. And then you can split the difference between protein and fat. So, you're going to probably take in about 35% protein and, hopefully healthy fats, avocado, you're getting, you're eating lean protein. Maybe you're getting in some legumes. But the big thing is that you should track your calories, avoid that, high allergen foods, for example, high dense nutrient foods like I'm going to eat 3 loaves of bread before I go to work out because I'm going to work out for 30 minutes, right? You don't need to eat a bowl of oatmeal with brown sugar and raisins and honey. So those are the kind of things that you really have to look out for. It's starting to make those simple changes to leaner proteins, more vegetables. I tell people 3 vegetables to every fruit. That's a good rule. A lot of people eat a lot of fruit. I eat a lot of fruit and vegetables. No, a lot of times people eat a lot of fruit. They don't eat a lot of vegetables. Vegetables are very nutrient dense and they're very calorically low, and they just carry a lot more nutrients in them that make a difference in your body's metabolism. Fruits aren't bad. It's just that, a lot of times they're higher in sugars. And once again, we got a population of 50% of our population is either diabetic or pre-diabetic.
Many like to dip their veggies in some ranch or other salad dressings. Dr. Lavelle admits that isn't ideal, but if it gets you eating vegetables, he says go for it. Maybe think about weaning yourself out of the habit, but he stresses getting vegetables is the key. If you'd like to sit down with a professional about your diet, he recommends seeking out an integrated dietitian, and they are readily available in a lot of places. It's 24 minutes after the hour here on this Friday morning. Coverage of news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. It's 37 degrees with light rain falling in Clinton. It feels like 29 degrees outside. The WHOW Morning Show streams live today to Facebook Live and YouTube, and that's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
New trucks and SUVs are coming here at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. This is Scott Baum. Yes, we have new inventory arriving, and you can see what will arrive right on our website. Just click on the pre-order and reserve tab. From there, you will find vehicles in transit and vehicles in production. Or just call our sales staff and we'll help. Find Silverados, Equinoxes, Blazers, including Tahoes and Suburbans, as well as our complete Buick line of SUVs. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
It's 25 minutes after the hour here on this Friday morning. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. 157 schools have entered the inaugural IHSA State Tournament Series in esports. That's an update from the organization's executive director, Kurt Gibson.
But what that translates to is, we're going to have a good number of schools assigned to each sectional. It's probably going to be in that 17 or 18 schools per sectional. And much like when we started bass fishing 14 years ago, we were sort of hoping for somewhere between 80 and 100. And so we've exceeded that number, and that excites us tremendously. And it's going to really, it's going to be an interesting journey. It's going to be a fun journey, and we're looking forward to it.
And did you say how many total sectional sites then are you going to have in the first year?
We'll have 8 in the first year. And I would expect over time that number will grow, but for year one, we'll have 8.
The first ever IHSA eSport State Champion will be crowned on April 30th, and sectionals are April 23rd. The annual Women in Agriculture Conference, hosted by the Illinois Farm Bureau, will be in person for the first time since 2019. Katie Lalaman is the director of the Henry County Farm Bureau. She says organizers are excited to return to an in-person event after a cancellation in 2020 and a virtual event last year. year?
Well, we also have coming up our annual Women in Agriculture Conference. After a year of a cancellation and then another year of doing the program virtual, we are so excited to be back to an in-person conference this year. It will be Friday, March 25th, and we will be at Bally's, which formerly was Jumers, so same location we have been at, just a name change. But this year, our keynote speaker is Jeannie Bernick, and we have a number of other general sessions and breakout sessions. So I think you'll certainly find something for everyone. Registration is open, so you can also book a hotel room there at Bally's if you need. But the website is womeninagricultureconference.com, and the cost to register is $60, and that runs through the end of February. And then there is a cost increase into March or closer to the date of the conference. So register early, again, womeninagricultureconference.com, and it will take place Friday, March 25th at Bally's, formerly Jumers.
To register to attend the annual Women in Agriculture Conference, visit womeninagricultureconference.com. The Better Business Bureau wants you to be on the lookout for scams related to income tax refund season. The agency warns there are scammers, businesses that have good intentions but cannot deliver for one reason or another, and offers that will charge you to do what you can probably do on your own. BBB investigator Don O'Brien says many scammers will call you with various threats trying to get you to send them money. He says some also try to reach you via text.
If you get a text message from someone claiming to be with the IRS, that again is false. A lot of times they're not only will they say something, they'll say you need to click this link to clear this matter up. Don't click on the link because gosh knows where you're going to go there.
O'Brien says a lot of companies, especially this time of year, claim they have special expertise that help them reduce your tax liability significantly. He says before agreeing to a contract with any business claiming such things, you could probably be just as well off trying it yourself. 29 minutes after the hour here on this Friday morning. Again, we start the day under cloudy skies with light rain in Clinton, 37 degrees. It feels like 29 degrees outside. Coverage of news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. The WHOW Morning Show also streams live to Facebook and YouTube, and coverage of that is brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton.